I'd like to talk about the men's rights movement and men's rights activists and how this relates to circumcision. There's actually 2 points I'd like to make. The first point is I'm not a men's rights activist. I mean, I sympathize with pretty much every one of their positions. I just don't. It's not my area of expertise. But I have to say, I can't help but pay attention to them. I think it's very difficult to understand the issue of male infant circumcision without being able to step back and take a look and recognize the categorical, systemic, system-level denial of empathy to men and boys in Western society. And I've sort of been drawn into their orbit to a degree. I don't think you'll really ever see any of that material on the channel, on this channel, but I do sympathize with most of their positions. The second part of the men's rights movement, men's rights activists, and circumcision I'd like to bring up is the degree of penetration of the issue of circumcision into the men's rights movement, because it apparently isn't as thorough as you would have thought. Apparently, Stefan Molyneux got up on stage at one of these men's rights conferences in 2014 or 2015, I think 2014, and was there to give an address. Stefan Molyneux is great, by the way. He is on our side 100%. He's one of us, and he's not just a one-hit wonder either. He has repeatedly made videos on circumcision, and you can expect probably a couple every year, at least. He got up to make a speech, and a good part of his speech was apparently about male infant circumcision at this men's rights movement gathering. And apparently this was very controversial. Certain members of the audience were not pleased that he gave the speech. And for the life of me, I can't understand this. I don't know how you... It's a problem of triage. It's a problem of priorities. I don't know how you can attack an alimony and child support and child custody system rigged in favor of women, or the real pay gap in certain fields, especially STEM and high-tech fields, in which women are actually paid more. How you can address, a culture of sexual harassment and sexual assault spurious sexual assault and sexual harassment allegations, especially in the workplace, but also on college campuses, that are to a very large degree being instigated by women or taken advantage of by women. I don't know how you can address any of these issues if you can't prioritize male infants being blade raped and genitally mutilated and dismembered alive. I don't know how you can deal with any other issue without addressing that. I guess some people in the men's rights movement are just very averse to talking about it. I guess for the same reasons that everybody else would be. It's very embarrassing. Well, I mean, I was watching an intactivist video, and this guy summed it up fairly well. Confronting circumcision means admitting that there is a defect in yourself, or in the woman, by proxy. It means confronting your parents, either for your own mutilation or by proxy, I guess, if you have brothers or if you're a woman with brothers. And taking on an organized culture and medical field that hates you. It's a tall order. And I guess, I mean, men's rights activists are people too. They're human like the rest of us. I just seems sort of cartoonish when you're getting angry about alimony and child support and things, but you can't, you're not getting angry about infant boys being genitally mutilated. The single biggest ongoing human rights violation in the West and arguably the world. When you expand it to the world, you'd think it would become less, but when you expand it to the world, you have to include Philippine circumcision, South Korean circumcision, all the circumcisions going on in Africa, all Islamic circumcisions, even the penile subincisions that are going on among Amazonian tribes in South America. Oh, and also Aborigine circumcision in Australia. You have to include that in it. And it comes to what you might consider as being the single biggest ongoing human rights violation. Anyway, those are my two points that I have to make with regard to the men's rights movement and circumcision. The first point being that it's hard to address circumcision without acknowledging the categorical society-wide lack of empathy that men get, that the men's rights activists are keyed into and do understand and is part of their narrative. And then the second point is that I'm surprised that more men's rights activists are not coherently integrating this into their narrative. I will say Mike Buchanan in the UK, the Justice for Men and Boys Party, he has his own political party, is really him and Stefan Molyneux are really the only people that have integrated men's rights positions into, or integrated circumcision into the bigger men's rights movement platform. So tell me what you think about that. Take care. Bye-bye.